Welcome.
Oh, hey.
Hello there. Danny, this is for you.
Danny wins.
You're in here first. You get the thumbs up,
Ooh.
the finger gun,
Whoa.
and the wink.
Ooh.
You get it all.
The trifecta. That's like a Paul Hollywood handshake right there. Also, Tabuite, guys. No, what is it? Yokola Atima. Drink now.
Oh, okay. Heroes. Pendragon.
Highsies.
Kaylee.
I love that. Highsies.
Ah, it's so good.
He is.
Oh.
Steven's all jacked up on Mountain Dew.
I'm jacked up
Ooh,
on.
this is a good one.
I'm jacked up on Star Wars right now.
Oh my gosh.
I am.
We are.
I am still on such a high from Star Wars that nothing can bring me down at this point in time.
Oh, let's test that theory. Hey. It's the
Thomas, you
martini.
get a little finger gun action.
Ooh, okay.
Over here.
Maybe give him a little wink too.
Yeah, hold on.
Sorry. I thought we were a little looser today, reining it back in.
Can't just give them out. They're not special.
Who do we have? We've got Danny, Calais, Sean.
Callie?
Sorry, we're butchering your name. Sonfield's in here. Heroes, Dustin, Thomas, Eric. Eric Jones is here. Bespin Bespoke. Brent's here. Got a wink, wink, and a nudge, nudge.
All right, so
You just jumping right
in. We have to. I'm like so.
You're so excited
I'm
right
so
now.
excited.
Oh my god!
Because this is the thing. Like
We've
been able to
conserving your energy
Exactly.
all day for this moment.
Well, this last couple days.
Oh, okay.
So it's like we
explains
talk to
it.
each other.
Yes.
So
sometimes.
I could show my excitement for the episode, but now we can actually talk to other people and be excited for like what we just were a part of. That's what it feels like. So first,
Yes.
let's catch up on what we
Oh,
our
okay.
last episode.
Oh, okay. So you're teasing and teasing and
Yeah,
teasing, talking
we're
about
teasing.
from Boston. Something. What are you doing in Boston?
Whoa.
Oh, we got New Hope.
So who do you recommend to book a trip to Disney West for Life Day on Batu West?
I mean, I can book it for you.
I mean, right here.
You want to book it?
I can.
You could book it.
Yeah.
There's, if you do want me to help you, I can help you, Sean. There is a booking form should be in the description of this live stream. If not, just go to sarahjmac.com. Oh, Steven is bubbling over, not bunking over.
I'm bunking over
I was
too.
like, what does that mean?
I'm so excited. I'm gonna go to Brent's.
Oh, I pronounced it correctly.
Okay, there you go.
Calais. That's so pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really pretty. Okay. Well, what have we been up to?
Well, last episode we talked about, are we gonna get Star Wars?
More Star Wars.
Or not more Star Wars to replace the Star Wars you're taking.
Well, also just like, can we have our toys back? You took our toys away because you were like, no, we got you this cool Barbie dream house.
I don't know.
Can we get our regular toys back now that Barbie Dream Houses has become a Casa Mojo Dojo house? What is it? I forget what it was called.
It's a hard thing. Like right now, it feels like Disney is not gonna be shelling out the bucks for Star Wars.
Yeah. And so we did do an episode last year. I don't remember which one it was exactly. But it was about, okay, yeah, we have Star Cruiser, but here's all the things that are missing that we used to have pre-pandemic and we don't have them anymore.
How
And it was
naive
more
we
of
were.
just like, it was like, I mean, we have Star Cruiser, but it'd be nice if we had all these other things. Well, now we're not even going to have Star Cruiser in 2 weeks. And so it's like, let's bring those things back. Let's put some more energy back into the parks when it comes to Star Wars. Because you've got Galaxy's Edge. And if you're looking at East, you don't even have those seasonal characters.
And see, I don't know, and what I'm kind of referring to, there's an interview that the current CEO, the one who shall not be named, is talking. I think it's a financial interview, but they're talking about how they're gonna flip Marvel, or like Marvel and Star Wars. How are they gonna make it better? And he's basically saying that it's maybe gonna be on a pause.
Really?
So I'd have to see when the timing of that interview was, but right now I think they're just trying to like hold back anything new.
That hurts my heart.
I'm just saying. The birthday boy's in here.
Yes. Oh, hey. Dano's, he is in his, I guess officially his 41st rotation, right?
Yeah, I guess
he
it would
hit
be.
40. He's completed 40 years on this earth and survived. It's impressive.
Look at it. Look at us. Look at us.
Look at you go. And a bunch of milestone birthdays this year. New Hope, I know that you...
Lando.
I saw it in your stories where there was going to be a Lando show and now it's becoming a film. I'm just here for the costuming. I don't care how you give it to me. If you give it to me in 6 1-hour chunks or...
But see, the thing is with like Lando, it would be nice to see a little bit of Billy D, but Donald Glover, like a little bit of both, right?
Oh, that would be fun.
Get it like, you know, past and present type of thing.
Lando would be fun as a show,
Maybe like
I think.
maybe Billy D at the at a sabacc table, like telling his stories, just kind of like he's got his drink right there.
Kind of like Princess Bride style, where like he's telling a story to his like grandchild about his younger days.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
That'd be cute. Dustin, my relationship with Disney is complicated ever since the closure announcement. I think that's honestly how. Oh, Dustin's on the last voyage. That's amazing. Beyond grateful to be on the last voyage. I'm not sure when I'll be back. Used to be every few months. I think a lot of people are feeling that way.
I think the thing is like, and we've talked about this, how there's an emotional connection to Disney that people have, and there's a bit of people feeling slighted by what's going on.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you happy, right? And where it's going to hit you most is going to be the pocketbooks. So, Brent, what's going on?
4 days a youngling. Yeah, I would love specifically the fireworks to come back. They were just they were so good.
Well, and I think just thinking about it from, our angle of Star Wars content, if there's like a Marvel obsessed, someone that's really obsessed with Marvel, they may say, we don't get this, we don't get that.
Right.
And even this week, or like, not even this week, I think just this past, because they've, at West, they've added Hera, Chopper, and
Ahsoka.
I think I don't know if we had mentioned Ahsoka before, but they have all these new characters. And I was telling you about it. I was like, I am not even salty about it anymore. I don't want to have that saltiness in the air, because I'm glad at least somewhere like we are getting characters.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to be upset, because then they're gonna say, okay, well instead we're not gonna have any characters.
Nobody gets them. I'm
So
glad. Yeah.
I'd rather have like West gets characters. Great. Like we get new things over there. That's great. And if we want to go visit it, we can.
But then that's how they get you, because now we're spending the money to go
just leave them out for a little bit
too.
longer, so that way we actually have time.
Let them marinate.
Yeah, let us be able to go visit. But
we gotta earn some credits so we can get out that way.
but I definitely feel like now I don't want to be salty about anything. Like if we're getting Star Wars, it's great, no matter where it's at.
What a time to be alive, though. Like really and truly. Yes, Star Cruiser closing, like it hurts. It hurts a lot. I cried a bucket's worth just today about it, because I heard a really sad song.
Sean, I think that was the biggest hurdle that they made themselves.
Yeah, it was. It was a very, very, very expensive experience. If you did experience it, then you're like, that was totally worth it.
But they just talked about the treasure. How, so again, this is where we're going to have to start evaluating the cost of entertainment. And I think that was like, it came off at the wrong time, but we're going to see that doing these type of things is going to be more costly at a time that it's not very
everything's just more expensive
Yeah.
now. But so you mentioned the Disney Treasure. So we're still in the early booking phase. It's not open to just general public, meaning like if you've never been on a Disney cruise before, you can't book it yet. And I think it's not even open yet for silver. So even if you've been on like one Disney cruise, but for gold members and up, you are starting to, well, gold members could book today. I booked a gold Castaway Club member today, and for a 7-night sailing, and it wasn't the inaugural, it was like a month after it opened, it was $5,300 for 2 people, but it's 7 nights.
Okay.
And you do 3 days on islands, like 3 shore excursions, and then the rest are at sea. So
It's not equivalent.
it is not equivalent.
Okay.
But you're also not getting the same level of entertainment and immersiveness that you get. So you can't compare it to anything.
Yeah.
You literally cannot compare it to
yeah,
anything.
it's
And
not.
that's what made it, that's where it failed. Yes, it was priced really high, but had they marketed it better and explained it better, I think that complaint would have gone away. But they just didn't market it correctly. They didn't market it, and then they just kind of stopped trying to market it accurately, even after it was open and people were there. It was like, interview people.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, I think they could have done more stuff.
They could have.
The Wani masks. So West needs those Wani masks, so Kashopadogas.
Oh man, having Wani and Ogas would be great. And that was something we were going to
Yes,
talk
Rob.
about.
I think that was like a big thing. Is like, yes, it was too high, but people were still going, but they didn't know how. And I think the thing is like, it didn't have enough time. Like once they kind of figured out how to describe it and like say, this is what it is,
it's too late.
it was already too late.
It was already too late. They made it more affordable. More people could afford to go. Yes, but also,
Would that
no.
experience be the same?
Well, no, but they did make it more affordable, and that they were offering.
Well, I
discounts.
think that was just because they're backtracking on like whatever if there was a markup. I think that's the thing is like, was it a markup?
There had to have been some sort of markup, but they were starting to offer 30% off for different groups. And then if you were on like a canceled voyage or something happened, you got 50% off, which like they're not making money off of 50% off markup or discount, but they were trying to make it more affordable, and then Disney just said, cut it.
Yeah.
And it stinks, but it's a very expensive price point to be like, let me just see what this is about. It's a lot of money to spend. People thought it was LARPing and it wasn't. People thought it was a hotel and it wasn't. People thought it was a cruise and it wasn't. Yeah, when I have to explain to people like in my, like if I don't talk about Star Cruiser at work, but then if somebody asks, like a friend says something like, oh yeah, that Star Wars thing, I'm like, oh my God, please don't ask me. Like, I would love to tell you all about it, but also I'm going to need like 30 minutes at a minimum just to kind of get you comfortable with the idea of what's going on here. I'm like, it's a hotel dinner theater thing. It's first of its kind, hard to market. It is hard to market that. Hero says, unless we get to go to the bridge and steer the boat, the Wish is not comparable. Yeah, it's not. And I mean, we have that big group cruise that we are going to do on the Disney Wish, and that is the most Star Wars that we can get in a overnight situation setting is going on the Disney Wish, because we know that the Treasure doesn't have it's not going to have hyperspace.
Yeah.
The only Star Wars that it's going to have is that we're aware of at the
cargo.
moment is the cargo hold, which is the kids club. So you can't even really do that. But it'll be fun. At least we'll have the Wish, and I think at least we'll have each other. But that's what it's about, right? It's
Yeah.
like Star Cruiser has brought together so many wonderful people from all different walks of life.
And this is what I said on the last podcast. Go
Yeah.
check it out on YouTube, anywhere you listen to podcasts. But people are gonna find a way to emulate that sense of LARP, that sense of theater. That they're gonna find a way to do that. Mm-hmm. And like there's a ton of creative people, like intelligent people out there that they're gonna come out with something, and then like, hey, that's a good idea. Like, we should try that. We should do that.
Yeah.
We should go to that. And I don't doubt that. And that's where I said Disney would be missing out on those opportunities, because again, you created this opportunity, this experience, and then removing yourself from that removing your dog from that fight, you're gonna let somebody else go in there and swoop it.
Yeah, it's
like that's to me, that's the crazy thing, is like you're gonna remove yourself.
Yeah. I have to stay very like logical in my thoughts and in my comments on Star Cruiser, because if I start thinking about the fact that it's just going to be over and we're not going to have anything like this anymore, I'm going to become
Thomas Outpost X. I mean, if there's like an event there.
Yeah, maybe we just throw a big old party with some music. Dano, I'm actually really excited for the Wish. It's been years. Here's our daughter. We've been watching like YouTube videos about the treasure and everything, and it looks very similar. And so she's like, I want to go back on the cruise ship. And she's like, there's new stuff on the cruise ship. And it's like, oh, it's different. But it's the same. Yeah. The treasure. But yeah, she's all jacked. She's like, I want to go on the cruise ship. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Brent, how are you with booking international travel? Need to form groups to go to the Star Wars filming locations. We actually have one of my coworkers is on like currently, or maybe just got back from a trip going to look at the
Naboo.
Yeah, she went to Naboo. She went to Italy and like looked at or visited the Star Wars locations there. But that's something that I have been looking into, is like, let's just do some like group trips and do these tours and go to maybe Ireland, or go do one that's Italy centric. Tunisia. Let's do our next Mos Eisley there. Julie's here. Late to the party. My question, people say it's too much. What would you pay to live in Star Wars? Not as an extra or an actor, but actually living in the galaxy. In my opinion, they didn't charge enough. I really think it was a combination of just the price. The price timing being what people latched onto, and then the fact that they couldn't explain what it was. It was worth the cost.
Yeah.
It's expensive. And like, if I could have afforded to do it every week, I would, but you can't.
Yeah.
We can't. That's for sure.
But yeah, I you know, and the thing too is, off the Star Wars that we got this week, is so that's the part that really gets you bummed out. Is like, we have I've kind of said it like, you know, under my breath, and just kind of like, Filoni he knows Star Wars. Like he cares about Star Wars. Yeah. He's like the next coming of Lucas.
Yeah.
And with this last episode, it was absolutely amazing. Like it was just so great. Like there was just the emotion that you got from it. It was great. And that's like, you know, I'm still, you know, again, riding that high from it, that it's just like, it's so nice to have good Star Wars stories.
Yeah, it is. And Star Cruiser pushed the bar in inserting you in a Star Wars story. It
allowed us to play Star Wars.
And
I think that's the thing, is like, it didn't necessarily put me into this Anakin story, this Ahsoka story, any of these stories that we know, but it let me play in a Star Wars, in that galaxy.
Yeah.
Let me play like I was there. And I think that was the thing, is like, it wasn't just going to, you know, Disney and riding the rides, you know, escaping life, but it was letting me go play.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part that's like, you can't, like, that's going to be the thing that's going to be hard to emulate. Yeah. Like, yes, we could go to Batuu, but can we actually go and play in Batuu?
Yeah. We're not running missions. We're not sneaking things from one side of the park to the other side. Like, we don't have a cool dinner show to go watch. You look the same. Rob. You look old. Yeah, I like that. The new I Love You, I Know. Imagine a Mos Eisley in the Lars homestead. Oh my God.
Sean's gonna be wearing the tunic and the belt.
It'd be so dry. Ah. Oh, and would definitely need to paint the ceiling. Oh man,
But-
yeah. You want to talk about Ahsoka next, or do you want to catch up on other things first
what
before
other?
we get there?
So
So speaking of I Love You, I Know, let's take a minute to just like appreciate the amazing friend that we have in Paul Marino.
I know, man. That was like if you haven't seen the painting, like I think it's on
Princess and
yeah, Princess
Scoundrels
Scoundrel.
Instagram.
But our friend Paul Marino, he does tattoos.
Who we met through Star Cruiser.
Through Star Cruiser.
Well, so we met him. He is Ryan Key's. He's one of Ryan Key's tattoo artists. So
Yeah.
he's friends with Ryan. And then we're friends with Ryan because of Star Cruiser. And then I helped book Paul and TJ's honeymoon onto the Star Cruiser and help them book like their wedding, like their room blocks for their wedding and everything. But that's how we met him, was Star Cruiser.
Yeah.
And then we ended up, they've come to Mosh Isley's. We did Star Cruiser in May. Like we're just friends now. Like
Yeah.
they're just wonderful people. And he reached out a few months ago and he was like, hey, I'm going to do something. Can you send me pictures of you guys in your favorite cosplays? And I was like, I hope you're doing something good. And he said he was going to make some like, digital paintings or whatever. And he's just like an incredible tattoo artist. Like
Yeah.
he does super realistic portrait tattoos where it just looks like you printed out a sheet of paper and like slapped it on your skin.
Yeah.
Like it is so good. Oh yeah, Heroes knows how great they are. Galen is here. There we go. Galen's been missing out lately, but
Yeah, I think the thing is like it was cool seeing us. Like okay, whatever. But like the fact that he made it like the
video.
No, not the video, but like the logo with the ship. Like it was just like the whole thing, and then our name, like the Princess and Scoundrel, but with the Halcyon logo. It was just so cool.
It was so creative, so thoughtful. Like we didn't know he was gonna go that hard with it, and so he sent it. I guess it probably must have been the night before we posted it, and he was just like, "Hey, can I ask you a question?" He just texted me. I was like, "Yeah, what's going on, man?" And he was like, "Do you want to see your painting?" I'm like, "Yes." And he's like, "Okay, well, I made you this video of it," and
it was great.
He's the one that sent that video. Like he made the whole video.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So cool. He is absolutely wonderful. Sunfield says, I can't watch since I'm on a call. We love you too, Justin. Can't wait to see you soon. Star Cruiser made me like Smuggler's Run more than Rise of Resistance, all because it now had a compelling story. That was the magic of the experience.
I would agree because
take.
that was as far as rides from the Disney side of it, that wasn't my I love Star Wars, but it wasn't my top ride because I was like
which is crazy because
Yeah.
it's like you get to pilot the Millennium Falcon.
But again, I think there's just like aspects of it where we're just kind of the kids always get to be pilot, and I'm slamming the engineer button.
I like being engineer. It's my favorite. I like being, but I get
I think the gunner because you
too.
just just tap it.
But you're just like, because now they have it to where it's like manual or automatic shooting. Justin, is your wife in here? No, we have not seen her if she is. Are you looking for your wife?
No, not here.
She's not here either. I wish. I adore her. I can't wait to see her. Dano, hey, Paul, me next. You gotta make friends, Dano. I'm just messing with you. I can still mess with you even though it's not your birthday anymore.
Oh man.
Wait, what did they say? Oh, that needs to be y'all's card and stickers now.
I know. I was.
That's a good idea. That's a really good idea.
I was telling Brent about it. I was chatting with Brent. I was like, we were trying to figure out, is it weird if we have a poster of ourselves up?
It feels weird.
So, and then the funny thing is we also I got Sarah to watch One Piece, the live action.
We're not done with it. Please don't spoil anything.
Yeah.
Although I think TikTok already spoiled the ending for me.
But we started watching it, so I'm super excited for that. But there was like a part where one of the captains or the leaders, he has pictures of himself and
they're like portraits. They're
Yeah.
like painted portraits, but they're massive. Like, because it's a live action anime, but everything is just like
exaggerated.
yeah, exaggerated. Perfect word. Exaggerated. So it's like a 10-foot tall portrait, and there's like 5 of them in this room. And the next day we get this, and I was like, oh my God, I want to print it. And then I was like, oh my God, we just watched One Piece, and it just seems so weird. So yeah, but the thing is, it's like we have family portraits of ourselves in our house.
Yeah.
And like our 2 canvases, our big canvases, do we print it on a big old canvas and replace it? Maybe. It's just so good. 11 days. Dano, I am the king of antisocial media. Live action One Piece is really good. So we looked at it was like 384 episodes of One Piece. It's like 15 or 16 seasons of the actual anime cartoon.
Yeah.
And I will not watch that. I don't like anime, and I know it's just not my thing. But yeah, it's been really fun.
Yeah.
It's really campy but it's cute.
Well, I think the thing is like the idea that you have that it's based off an anime, and hearing from my side is I never got into it because I didn't want to like have another time sink, and that's why it was like I'm way too far behind that I'm not gonna catch up.
Yeah.
But hearing people
Says
say
the man that's 3 years into Naruto.
But I think the thing is like the anime watchers were saying that the live action was pretty good. Like, they were saying like, okay,
Yeah.
we kind of give our blessing to it, and
that's like a 6 to 7 hour time commitment versus like 384 episodes of something. Gaylen's got portraits of herself that she's done herself. There you go. Make a shower curtain. No, it's such a gorgeous piece. I'm just like, it's so thoughtful. Like, he spent so much time looking at our faces and like digitally painting them.
Yeah, that was super cool.
Like everything, like my fingernails, like it's so thoughtful.
Yeah.
I'm just poor Paul. I know. I think he sent me I think he only sent me one. I think it was like one progress picture, and it was like your face, and he was like, he just gets more handsome every time I work on it.
I should have told him like take it in a little bit on the sides. But yeah, so we talked about Star Cruiser and kind of that impending end. But D23 came out, or like the Destinations, right? So this
Destination
is like
D23.
D23 mini between the big ones, and they've kind of like shot down things, cut down things.
Yeah,
I don't feel, and this wasn't, and we kind of in the group chats, like this wasn't a thing of is this big news happening. It's like a suspected news, but there was still, I guess, like pretty big news, and for the Easters, like
the Easters,
the Dino Land's going, like it's confirmed, right?
Yeah.
So bringing Indiana Jones, and
what I thought was cool is, so like you said, D23 every other year is the big one, and I wish they would do this for Celebration. So they do a big one every other year, and that's in Anaheim, and it was called D23 Expo, and I think they're changing the name of it now. And then on the off years, the in-between years, they have Destination D23, which is in Orlando. It's like, I think only like 1 or 2 days of panels, but I don't think there's like a big exhibit hall or anything like D23, which is more of a typical convention where you have like panels all day long, and you've got the big exhibit hall, and you've got all these like installations and shops and everything. But I went to it when it was in Anaheim last year, and it was really fun, but it was kind of frustrating because we had won the lottery and gotten into the big parks panel. And that day, security was taking like 3 times longer than it had any of the other days. And so we were later getting to the parks panel than normal, but we had wristbands to get in, and they almost didn't let us in. Like, we missed half of the parks panel because they let other people in that had been waiting in line, because you could either win the lottery or they saved space, like standby space. But anyway, it was just like this huge mess. And so because it was limited to
It's so crazy
size,
that there's been events like this that have gone on for years now, years, and they still haven't figured out a way to like make those things flow efficiently. So
yeah. But what they're doing this year now is, I think they're going to have like their big, like essentially the Hall H of Comic-Con is going to be, I think, in their, is it their hockey arena? I think it's in their hockey arena. That's where they're going to have the big panels. So they're not just I forget what the name of it was. It's not D23 Expo anymore. It's like D23 Extravaganza or something crazy. But they're going to take over the hockey arena.
We'll see how that moved to the
Honda Center. That was what it was. Oh, and it's tough too. That was something we were talking about, because it's like as soon as they announced the dates, I'm like, I'm gonna go book a hotel right now. Like, I'm gonna go book it. And then I was like, oh, that's like 3 weeks after San Diego Comic-Con. Like, it's a lot. We'll see. We will see.
Justin.
Justin.
Paul is visiting. And Starkers will be a permanent part of my person. It's going to be a full, Bespin says, make it a full back piece. I agree.
I joked with Steven to just get a whole back piece of that, the art that he made us. Is that what you're getting on you, Justin? Is our portrait?
That's what it was. The sketch was for.
Oh, I can't wait to see. I didn't realize you were getting your tattoo so soon. That's exciting. Everybody's getting their Star Cruiser tattoos right now.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, nope. Not for me. I would love to, but I can't, like, if everything is not straight and perfectly aligned, it's not like you can just like zhuzh it over or anything. Like, it is what it is, and you're putting a lot of trust in somebody that you don't know. So, you know, yeah, and it's right near Dragon Con too. It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be a really busy con season next year. D23, 2024. Yeah, it is. If I was gonna get a tattoo, it would probably be a Star Cruiser tattoo. But like I said, I don't have. I trust no one. But yeah, so we had awesome art from Paul. D23, we looked a little bit. Whole weekend is already sold out.
Golly.
Hilton Anaheim is a great hotel. I think that's where we're going to be doing our hangouts when we all go to Life Day. Because it's just like a huge bar.
Yeah, it was a cool hangs.
Yeah, and then Marriott's right across. Like, Marriott's like a 2-minute walk from the Hilton. So even if you stay over there, like, their bar is smaller, but the Hilton bar is just like, there's lots of little, like, it's all in one open space, but there's lots of little pockets.
Yeah.
So everybody can kind of just like bounce around. Like, it's a really great like hangout place. So I think we're going to be hanging out there. Yeah, Marriott wasn't bad. Dano and I hung out there after D23 last year. It was good.
Yeah.
It was just smaller. But yeah, we've been just like prepping, costuming.
Yeah. So we have, I'm trying to think of like when we started really hitting it hard, but we are set to go on our last voyage in like 2 weeks, huh? Or less than 2 weeks.
It'll be over in 2 weeks.
So
it's 12 days until the voyage starts. But here's where things get complicated. Is my travel agency is having our first summit. So all of the travel agents are invited, and we're doing it at Disney. And we're going to have like our different vendors come talk to us. So like, Disney and Sandals and all these different places. I'm doing a training on like marketing and social media. And then, but that's for 3 days. That's the week before we go on our Star Cruiser voyage. And there's no point in me like coming back home
to go right back
over there. So I'm going to be in Orlando for like a week and a half. It's a very long time. So I have like even less time to
be prepared
to prepare for this. And I've cried every day this week, and every day that I've cried
plenty of time investment
has been a different reason, but I've cried. But on Monday I cried because I was trying to make my costumes. I'm more of a like, let me piece things together.
I feel like it wasn't necessarily like you had an idea of what you wanted.
Yeah.
And I think it was just the freak out came because it's coming so soon. Right? Yeah. Like the end is coming so soon. Because I feel like as far as like preparing for it, like, yes, I'm stressed because like I want to make sure I get everything done.
Yeah.
But I'm not stressed that if I don't, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's just like,
I'm not worried. Like we'll figure something out. Like I'm not worried about that. I'm just more of like I want to make sure like this is a good one because this is the last
one.
Yeah.
And you have like really, really, really great costume ideas for yours, and you're like going all out.
If it could get done.
You've been working on it for weeks and like designing it and crafting it, and I'm more of like let me just try to like slap some things together and make some like hasty Amazon purchases, and then if I need to make a handful of things here and there to make it look more like Star Wars, then I'll do that. And so that's been my approach, just because of all the travel work I do and like planning for Mosh Isley and like all these other things that I do, I don't have the time to like, and I'm just like, I'm not creative enough to come up with the cool designs and everything that you do. So I'm like, okay, let me just like, my approach is slap it together, make it work. And I thought I had it. And I had like purchased these things, and like it was like my first or second round of Amazon things came in, and I'm trying them all on. And I'm going to make this like little cape bolero thing. And I made it out of muslin so I could like try it, put it on, and nothing looked good. Nothing. I was like, no. And the one thing looked okay. And I was like, oh, okay, this like fits good. It looks good, but it's the wrong color. It's like the brightest of blues. And I'm like, let me dye it. And so it's like 11 p.m. at night one night, and I'm trying to dye this thing, and it's like dark. It's like black. I'm like, perfect. If I wash it and it like lightens to a navy, perfection. Darker than I wanted, I don't care. It's not bright blue. I washed it, and it went right back to this like primary blue, and I'm like, I can't. Those are not the vibes. So I ended up
just everybody. I was coughing, and Sarah can't just like roll with it like I'm cutting off of me. But like let's point it all out. Let's just talk about it.
Sorry, you coughed,
Sarah.
But yeah. So I had a major meltdown on Monday. I panic bought a lot of things on Monday afternoon, and then a few of them ended up working out. So now I have some things to make still, but it feels doable. I still have a ton of stuff I have to do between now and when I leave, but it feels doable. But the hard part is like, I'm leaving a few days before you and the kids. And so you're going to have to travel with the kids and all the things.
I'm not worried about that.
You're not?
They've traveled enough that they know the routine, and they've got their tablets and stuff.
It's not the traveling. I fear leaving you with like 6 suitcases to carry. Your eyes were like, whoa.
I was like, there's probably going to be some left if there's that many.
So I went out and like bought extra underwear for everybody and like PJs and stuff. So I'm like, okay, like you can serve, like you don't have to worry about laundry in the days that I'm gone, and then I can have the kids like fully packed, so that way you're just like grabbing suitcases. So Shein plus Amazon plus Joann's equals magic. We went to Joann's yesterday, And we're like, oh, there's like hardly anybody in the parking lot. Like, we're going to get right in and right out. No big deal. Well, it was because they were closed.
Yeah.
In the middle of the day. It was like a power outage or something. We're like, oh, no. Julie, you're so sweet. I wouldn't worry too much. You both always look amazing. It is the result of lots of stress. Lots of stress. I have meltdown proofed my hair this time though. So I should not have to worry about like crying over my buns.
Look, we're gonna leave you. I'm gonna get there early.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna try to wait inside this time.
That's gonna be super early.
Yeah.
Okay.
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 What's the problem?
My fear with getting there like super, unless you're like one of the first ones in. I think if you're one of the first ones in, I don't know if they hold. This is actually something I don't know about Star Cruiser. If you're like the first one in, do they hold you in the hallway, or do they let the first group like into that main room?
I think because they're still turning it over. They're
still turning it over, but do they let you in that bigger room where the lighted logo is, or do they hold you at the hallway?
I think they still hold you at the hallway.
Because sitting in a tight hallway like that, especially if you're in the middle of it, it's kind of like, huh? I mean, you can get through, but...
Black tape for the lights.
I use a sleep mask. That is my own portable black tape. It's my personal black tape. Always free reign to wait in the room with the safety video. That's what I want to know. If that's the case, I will happily...
Oh, yeah, but you're not going to be ready for the first one. So you're going to be in that hallway.
We'll see. Sorry. Wow. And Galen said use vinegar in the dye and rinse it well. Don't wash it. Add salt. I'm afraid if I don't wash it, it'll rub off on things, though. Will it not? Nate, you're so sweet. Don't forget to like the stream. Yeah, I don't know. We used salt because
I think Nate got to see Ahsoka in the theater.
He did, and he was twinning with Brooke. They were wearing their Ahsoka Roosevelt, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And why? Like, we're all going to be trying to be first, and we're all going to not be first.
Yeah.
Someone's going to be first.
So one person.
Everybody else is going to be last.
Yeah. I will do my best.
If you're not first, you're last.
I will do my best to not, one, have a meltdown, and two, make us leave the hotel later than everybody else. If you do wash it by itself with more salt. See, I did. I washed it by itself. I didn't even use an old towel. I didn't put salt in it, though. Yeah, Nate, tell us what it was like to watch Ahsoka in the theater, because that would have been incredible.
I think there was... So the big thing, we're gonna talk to the episode again.
Okay,
like, yeah,
right
we're on. Yeah, this is it. Let's talk about it. I think we're all like the Ahsoka and Anakin parts. Were definitely like the main focus of all of it. But I think the thing is like there was like Jason showing that he was super strong in the Force,
like crazy strong.
Yeah. And the other part of it is like, how was Hera able to hear those lightsabers as well? Like, was she sensitive to the Force? Was Jason, basically being a speaker for the Force? Like, how was that happening?
Yeah. Do you think Hera heard the lightsabers, or do you think she was just
I think she did.
Or do you think it was more of like, okay, if he's sitting here, like, I'm going to try, but if he sits here and he says, I feel like she just had that much trust in him.
I think her having the trust to listen was like that, putting that trust, but then the fact that she was like, she actually stopped.
Oh, let's talk about spoilers real quick.
Yeah. Spoilers.
if you have not seen it. Bye. Apologies. We're usually pretty good about not talking about spoilers, but we've been talking about Ahsoka lately just because it's.
Why I think that was what I was trying to get at was I think they're showing that anybody could be sensitive to the Force. They have to just
Tap
stop.
into
They
it.
have to stop and listen. I think that was what it was. And so, but that.
Do you want to talk about explaining to me like
Huyang,
where did she go?
Like Huyang, like being like so upset, like they never listen. It was just like, you know, you feel for him.
If you've ever
Like-
experienced loss, that grief, like you could feel this
Yeah.
droid's grief.
Yeah.
You're just like, I tried to tell them and they didn't listen.
But the thing is like he wasn't. I think it really was going to not just them two, but the Jedi in general. Like they don't listen.
yeah.
And it's like one of those things, like it was multi-level, where it's like he's talking specifically about them, but also just like the Jedi never listen. Like they try to tell them, but they don't listen.
But can you imagine? New Hope, can you tell you how wild it is to hear your own name in Star Wars? I mean, we wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I bet it's cool. I bet it's super cool.
And like just seeing the fact that I thought we were going to get like the episode where she's like, oh yeah, Jason's around here somewhere. I thought that was going to be the reference. And we're like, oh man, like we got Jason. And then we saw him with Chopper and we're like, oh my gosh, we actually got to see Jason.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you know, all over the
Leading
place.
character.
You know, co-pilot to freaking Ghost over here.
When you were, you made we haven't talked about that. We should have brought him up here. You made the Jason vests.
Yeah, well, because our kid has long hair.
Yeah.
And so we, you know, I was like, you know what? Let me see if I could whip this out in a week. And it was the hardest part for me is getting the right fabrics. And so we were getting into the dyeing phase, but they hadn't shown a picture, shown a spot of the back of the jacket.
It
or
was
the vest.
literally, you didn't even see like the full jacket or the full vest at that point,
Yeah.
right? Like it was just in that hallway and it was very dark and you couldn't tell anything. And then they released the kind of the poster on Instagram and we were like, oh, okay.
So I was able to have the front, and I was like trying to look for any kind of other behind the scenes. The best I got was a Lego minifig, and they showed the back of it, you know, the jacket. So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, let's go with that. And I went off of that, and it was pretty accurate. I haven't like gone frame by frame to see if like there was like, you know, I have certain details if that's the right
Yeah.
thing, but it was pretty spot on. So I'm pretty happy, excited to show that off whenever we go.
That would be cool. How cool would it be to have you all as Hera, Kanan, and Jason? That would be cool. Just take your glasses off. You're blind as it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you could pull off a Kanan.
Yeah,
We could do it.
maybe we'll do that one.
Our daughter could be Chopper.
She'd be a good
I
Chopper.
like how we don't go to Sabine. We're like, Chopper. Definitely Chopper. Does anyone feel like bringing Jason along is kind of irresponsible parenting? I mean, Grogu, the 50-year-old baby, was being brought around and thrown in the middle of fights.
Yeah.
It's just the theme of Star Wars, I suppose. But yeah, it was an incredible. That was the reason I cried on Tuesday. It was just such a good episode that when you get episodes like that, it feels like such fan service, and it almost feels like a little bit of like a therapy or healing, where it's like, this is something I knew I wanted. You wanted to see them reunited. You wanted specifically Anakin and Ahsoka.
But I think the thing is like there was a moment where afterward, like, I think for me, it was like an instant rewatch,
Yeah.
like instant rewatch.
Oh, literally, yeah.
And you were kind of like, well, what is this? What is it? And that was the beauty of it. I was like, this is what I'm understanding. And listening to other people's like reviews and what they're like, getting to the same, like, okay, yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Or, you know, listening to someone else say, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like that was the cool thing. And to watch it happen, like unfold, and you're kind of like, oh my gosh, like, you know, when she's going into that hit, you know, that flashback, it was like, I felt like Leonardo DiCaprio, like, hey, look, like whistling. I was like, oh my
You're like,
gosh,
she's young, she's young.
It's like, it's young, it's
And I was
little Ahsoka.
I was like, oh my God,
Like
it is.
mind blown, right?
Oh my gosh. And the
And
actress
then-
did an amazing job as a young Ahsoka.
And I'm gonna say,
Uh-oh.
put it out there. I was like starting to tear up when they were the Siege of Mandalore. Like they were showing that. I was thinking that they were gonna show like
Order 66.
Order 66
Again. I think I said it. I was like,
And
I
was,
cannot.
And I was just like, if they do that at this, because that was like a big thing in the show.
Yeah.
In the Clone Wars, like it was huge. I was like, if they were to show it now, it would
Rebels.
be So it would be like oh my gosh, and I was just like almost preparing myself, like I'm not going to be mentally prepared for that. They didn't, but it was like
I do feel like that was a bit of a miss, though. Like
no, I think again they had that moment in Clone Wars. They had her face off with Rex and him. Like they had that moment.
No, but I mean,
but
like,
I was just afraid that they were going to show it again and they were going to hit us hard.
I mean, like how they showed when they fast forwarded to what was the other? Oh my god, I'm completely blanking. What was the second battle?
The Ryloth.
That was the first battle.
One, yeah.
The first one was Ryloth, and the second one was the Siege of Mandalore.
Yeah.
When he was like, I don't remember this. And she's like, yeah, we'd parted ways at this point. Like, if they had then cut to Order 66 and he got to, this version of Anakin got to experience what Ahsoka went through in that moment.
But see, this is where, I was trying to explain to you, and this is my thinking of what this is.
Yeah.
Is the Force is everywhere. And this is what I was trying to explain to you, is like, the world between worlds is that Dagobah cave where or Dagobah cave where you're just facing yourself.
Yeah.
And at that time, this is my thinking, is Anakin is part of the Force.
Right.
So some of that Anakin is Anakin, but it's like manifested from Ahsoka's
Like memory of him.
But he's also still kind of there. Like, it's like he is there, but he's not there because it's just, he's part of the Force now.
Yeah.
So it was like he has somewhat of a,
An
existence there. But like her getting there, I don't think it was like a portal per se. It was more of just like her, going to the water, and it's like the Force pulled her in and said, okay, this is your chance to redeem yourself.
Yeah.
And it's not like they don't need like a doorway for a portal. It's just like the Force is, calls to you and lets you decide. And this whole thing was her deciding to live or die.
Yeah.
And making that decision, and she decides to live because everybody that's ever gone in there decides to fight. And this was kind of showing that she didn't, and that's why she went to the, Ahsoka the White.
Which is so cool.
Oh, yeah.
I thought I liked Spacesuit Ahsoka, but Ahsoka the White is.
It's after. Okay, let me see. Kind of go back a little bit. We're home. Chewie, same actress played young Gamora. Yep. She did a great job. I think she really like nailed like that Ahsoka look.
And the attitude too.
Yeah.
But here was it wasn't a beef with it, but it was something that I was just like, it made me so sad watching it, is the way she looked when she was really young. It was like, oh my God, were you like 10?
Well, because I think the thing is, you look at it as a cartoon, you don't realize that she's like that young, but they were young, young
Jedi.
Jedi.
Probably not
and
10, but like she's probably like 13 or 14.
Yeah.
For the first one, for the Ryloth.
Danny, when is Ahsoka? It is, I think they said 6 years after Return of the Jedi.
I think so. So it's after all of the Mandalorian stuff.
It makes you face your fears. Yeah. Like this was her trial. And it being, and I was thinking that it was at the beginning when we first saw her in the last episode, I thought it was like a trick. It was, a ploy by like Palpatine or something that brought her in. But seeing seeing the episode, it wasn't that. This was like her trial of like, is she going to, give in to that anger? And she didn't.
Which is just so wild because if you think about it, like Ahsoka
Rob,
was
so
then...
I think Rob's talking about the de-aging of Anakin was so good. Hayden did an incredible job. So the first when the World Between Worlds, it was kind of like, oh, they de-aged him. But when they went into like each of the flashbacks, those were great.
I didn't.
I think those were great.
I didn't think they looked great, but they. Oh, I think Danny was the joke. Is it the when is Ahsoka? Why is Ahsoka?
Oh.
The de-aging it pulled me out of it a bit because I'm like, oh, it's like it's close, but it's not. But I think when they did the flashbacks, because there was like the fog and the smoke and stuff, it was less obvious. But it was weird because you could see like Hayden Christensen has like deep forehead wrinkles now, as he should, because we're all just getting older. But then when it would be like a super young baby face and there's no wrinkles around his eyes, but then you would see like a full forehead wrinkle creep through. I'm like, wait a second, which one are you? Are you the de-aged one?
Katie, this is Ahsoka's mental journey to give herself guilt that be cleaned and reborn in the water. Yep.
But here's the thing to me that's kind of wild about that is that Ahsoka has been training since she was a baby, probably, right? Like that's when she was brought into the Jedi cult, if you will. And so for her to be learning these things, how old is she? In her 40s?
Now?
Yeah.
I think older. I think 50s.
Really?
Yeah.
But for her to be going through this like final,
because she's
test?
younger than. Okay, you think about it. She's younger than.
She's older than Luke.
But younger than Obi-Wan. And Obi-Wan died in New Hope.
She's older. Oh, younger than Obi-Wan.
But now she's probably like as old as Obi-Wan.
Dang.
So.
Oh my gosh! And then seeing her
45-ish.
without her headband.
That was weird.
That was so weird. I was like, where do you hear from?
Well, her little holes.
Were there holes there?
Yeah, little gill holes looking things.
Oh.
Yeah, see, it's pushing 50. It says somewhere out there.
Man.
So.
I can't move like that, and I'm not that age.
Man, yeah, it was. Yeah. Like, I've watched it a couple of times now just because I'm like, man, it just is.
Maybe we won't watch camping videos tonight, and we'll watch that one again.
We've been getting into the.
It's so bizarre. It's
like. So I like to watch like ASMR type videos at night to like just soothe myself. So for a while it was like leather working.
We did leather work. Oh, restoration videos. But I wasn't crazy about those because those would usually
have
they would have sanding, and he falls asleep a lot faster than I do, and so I'm just hearing like because it's always like sped up too, and sanding is like nails on a chalkboard to me. Like I do not like sanding.
But then we went to where they would film inside like Asian restaurants, like Japan, like a bunch of, I guess, like, Japan restaurants, but they would like the top Japanese ramen, top fried rice, the most fried rice or whatever. But it's just like a day in the life of a restaurant owner in Japan, or restaurant in Japan. And so they're prepping the food in the morning, making like the rice before, like in preparation. Then the orders come in. So they're just like, hustling, and then orders, to-go orders come in and stuff like that. So you get to see like the whole thing, but it's just like an ASMR aspect of it. But like lately we've been watching camping
It's just
videos.
This one specific guy. If you want to go watch him, I think the channel is Fish 13. And it's just one guy, one camera, one lens. And he goes out and he has these like beautiful like Land Rover cars, but I think it's all like sponsored at this point. But he has these different types of tents, and he'll just go camp for like a night.
A weekend. Yeah, it's like a weekend because it's like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday type
Does it? I think it's only
or just
we only
Saturday,
ever
Sunday?
see Sunday morning.
Yeah.
But he's got these different and like as we watched, like the first time we watched it, we're like, never go camping. Like that is not my thing. I'm not sleeping on the hard floor.
But there's so much efficiency like in camping gear.
But yeah, then you watch what he's doing, and he like brings out he's got everything. And he like wakes up in the middle. One of the videos, he like wakes up in the middle of the night. Like literally, it was like 3:30 in the morning, and he makes ramen. He like straight up has to heat up water and make ramen, and makes a whole meal, eats it, and then goes back to bed. We're like, what?
Little midnight snack.
But yeah, so that's what we've been watching lately when we go to bed.
All right, they were talking about Ahsoka. Says Google said 47 years, born 36 years before before New Hope. I know we went on a tangent. You guys were still talking about Ahsoka.
Wait, Ahsoka's 36 years old before
Yep.
New Hope?
It says 47 at this time. So she was born
Wow.
36 before A New Hope. Yeah, so she was 36.
Yeah.
So, Rob, this scene where Jason says, Hera, this is just stories you've told me. The crazy thing, and I don't know where it hit me, but the Star Wars always starts in a galaxy far, far away. They are now going to a galaxy far, far away
From them.
from them.
So we're now 2 galaxies far, far away.
Or are they coming to the galaxy that's
Are they coming to our galaxy?
like, that's what I'm saying. Like, is that one of the, like, are they going, double away or coming closer to us? So it's just
Or is
far
it a
away.
triangle?
Is it a galaxy that's far away?
Is it
Far, far
could be
away.
a triangle too, right? It's not linear.
So it's still like far, far away,
It's
just the other way.
yeah, equidistant. Brent says Shauna Tripsick, the costume designer who did come to Mos Eisley in San Diego, posted there was an actor in the Vader costume. It was not, those transitions were not CGI. I mean, I'm sure the transitions were, but yeah, like it was practical. Like, could you imagine? Like, I know we can
Yeah, it's
see
gonna
like
be far, far away.
I know we can see like Darth Vader in the Disney parks right now, but could you imagine like filming Star Wars and you have a Darth Vader on set? Anytime I see Darth Vader, like we had Darth Vader at Mos Eisley, and it's just like, oh my God. Like it's.
I think the crazy thing is, and the thing to make you guys were kind of talking about it, where Hayden Christensen's like doing so well at, as Anakin now and Vader. But I think like there has to be Matt Lanner. He gave Anakin life in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
For people that are, like have watched the whole thing. Because like people that just watch live
humanized him in a lot of ways.
but I just like not just humanized him, but like gave him that depth that was
Yeah.
missing from the prequels.
Yeah.
And I think that's like there has to be so much appreciation that needs to go that way, because if you were just watching the live action stuff, you wouldn't freak out. Like you're not gonna freak out into this episode. It's not gonna blow your mind.
This entire show means nothing if you didn't watch the animated series.
It's not gonna give you the same like connection. Like
Yeah.
it's been good, like because with Balin and Shin, like these new characters, because they're even new
They're
for
new
us.
to us.
So it's like we're all new together, but like this last episode, that was not for them. That was for us.
Yeah.
And even the last episode, kind of getting into it, it was getting ready for us.
Yeah. And Ahsoka, will it connect with enough people that haven't seen the animated series want to go back and watch and get more context for this show to like rewatch it later? Or are they going to be like, this is too deep. I don't understand this. I think Star Wars
It's not
I think
for me
I've
anymore.
outgrown Star Wars
Yeah.
now. And I think I think this might be the show that is polarizing, because Mandalorian was so good in that it was all brand new characters, and then when you did see like Cad Bane or something, you're like, oh my God.
I think the callbacks on Mandalorian were a lot smaller than this one.
Yeah.
Like this was.
Like we all lost
Like-
our mind when we saw Ahsoka.
Yeah, her saying, this is the Clone Wars. They were like, yeah, like,
Yeah.
this is
That's
exactly.
Rex right there. It's so true. Cannot tell you how many of my coworkers are like, what is all this?
Yeah. See,
It's like Star Cruiser. You're like, okay, so there's 2 animated shows you have to watch. You have to watch this one first. It's only 7 seasons.
the thing is like, to tell someone to, hey, go watch Clone Wars.
That's a lot of
That's
homework.
That's a lot of homework. Like I think Rebels kind of like tightened it up and like started that story into it, but there's a lot of stuff in Clone Wars that it just if you're gonna commit that time to it, like it's hard. It's hard to tell somebody, hey, you need to watch all this.
And I will be completely honest with you, and I am going to make enemies when I say this. I am in season 3 of Clone Wars right now.
Yeah, Sarah's not blown
It's
like the way I was.
Well, I have so much Star Wars now that like I have to squeeze in Clone Wars in between all my other Star Wars shows that I'm watching, right? But Clone Wars, it doesn't hook you very quickly. Rebels, instant hook. But Clone Wars, because it's like a monster of the week, a thing of the week, and because of the way that when it was broadcast, when it was broadcast, it was out of order too. Like it wasn't chronological.
I think you didn't watch it when it was like coming out. Then I think that's why you didn't have that like, okay, I want to see, the monster of the week.
It's spoiled because I have all of it right now, but it's tricky to watch. Yeah, I mean there are arcs in there that are good, but it's just like the in betweens, and you're like, wait, I thought this already happened, or they're like, oh, they're talking about this trooper died. It's like the trooper hasn't died yet, so it's kind of strange in the beginning.
See, Brent, Julie. So Brent said he's rewatching the Mortis arc today. Julie says, yes, Brent, I think the Mortis is going to play a big part to come. Yes, I think it's going to be to come, but I don't think it's going to be this season. I think there's going to be...
There's a lot to still get done in this season.
Yeah,
and we're 5 episodes in?
There's a lot to get done to figure out, like, are we going to get... Like, what are we going to get and how? And I would hate to get, like, Mortis type info, like maybe like a little tease at it for a next season, but I don't feel that there's enough time to really get into it. And that's the father, the brother and sister.
The interesting thing though is that when we very, very, very first saw Ahsoka in Mandalorian season 2, I think it was, we saw Mirai in the trees. I haven't actively looked for it, but I haven't heard anyone mention even seeing Mirai anywhere.
Yeah.
So it has to come back around. It's Filoni. It will come back around.
Yeah, it's going to come back around. When. Yeah. It's going to come, but we just don't know when.
Yeah. Anonymous person is here. Going to see everybody in Orlando. Leaving tomorrow night. You're going to be in Orlando quite some time.
Yeah.
That makes sense, Julie.
I will probably show up in the end, and that would be a teaser, yeah. The on the episode, they have that scene where she's on Ryloth and she's talking about how like just that dialogue of don't you feel bad and all these the troopers are dead because of me, my decisions. I knew it immediately, like the storm of Ryloth or like that whole arc.
Yeah.
And I started going look because I was like, was this verbatim in Tales of the Jedi? He kind of retconned Ahsoka, the way she got her crystals from the Inquisitor, from the book, the Ahsoka book. And I don't know if they're kind of alluding to that, depending on who's telling the story, things kind of change. Mm-hmm. But at the end of Rebels, if you remember, Ahsoka was in that white cloak. Yeah. Like, are we going to see that moment? Because if that's the thing, we're not going to see Ezra, or we're going to see Ezra for like a second, but he's gone. And then that moment is going to be at the end of this season.
Could be.
I don't know.
Paul and TJ are here now. We gushed about you guys for hours. We started this stream at noon.
Yeah.
And the first 8 hours was just gushing about you and the wonderful painting you made for us. And that Steven wants it as a tattoo on his back.
Yeah.
We need Bendu to show up. Thank you. Seriously, Paul, thank you so much for it. It was amazing.
TJ, we kind of talked about it. Julie and Brent were talking about that they were watching that arc right now, but I was saying that it's going to be probably next season. I don't think it's going to be this season because it would feel too rushed. and you wouldn't get the full flush of that.
Wait, TJ's saying Anakin being the father and Ahsoka being the daughter.
Well, that was...
Was that how it was in the episode, or was it?
Yeah, because remember it was...
oh, and then Obi-Wan.
Anakin had to... Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm just kidding, Galen. We did not start streaming at noon. So then the son was Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was something where it was the father was wanting Anakin to take over his role as the
keeper of the father, or the son and the daughter.
Yeah.
Basically, like, you had to keep each of them from killing one another, right?
Yeah.
That was...
Like, just keep them in track. So the son wouldn't get too powerful, the daughter wouldn't get too powerful,
What was that? I like to quote the movie, or like reference the movie, but I never remember what it is. The Will Smith... It's not Hitch, but it's the other one.
I don't know.
And Charlize Theron, and they're like superheroes, but they can't be too close together or they get too powerful.
Hancock?
Is that it? I think
yes,
that might be
it is. TJ's the father said, I'm going to die and you take my place. Son could be Ezra and Sabine.
Or Sabine.
Or Sabine.
Oh, like if they actually take their place as... But then aren't they like... If that were to happen, aren't they confined to Mortis?
Well, but that's the thing, is like then they would be just these Force protectors. Like they would be removed. Those pieces would be removed from game, and it could be that. And then that's how they're like.
Maybe that's how Ahsoka becomes a Force ghost voice for Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. Well, there you go. We've solved it.
Thanks.
Thanks, TJ. I don't think so, but more so the representation of the sides of the Force. But you'd have to have, for the son, you'd have to have somebody that's truly evil and selfish. I don't think
and I think that's
Sabine
the thing is like it's not going to be. That's going to be like the big revelation. It's not going to be someone that's evil, like Balin. It is just someone that's going to be using the Force, like the dark side of the Force.
When I say evil, I mean more of like for selfish reasons. Like not necessarily going down and cutting all the Padawans down, but using it for the wrong reasons.
Yes. And I think that's going to be the thing. It's not going to be like a baddie. It's just going to be the dark side of the Force, like just it's a hard. I think that's going to be the thing, like how they're going to reveal it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because right now, if you think about it,
maybe it's Jason.
They don't know who. Like, there isn't bad, right? There's not a bad Force user right now. And we always say Sith, but it's not a Sith, but there's not a bad Force user. Balin is talking about wanting to go to this other place for power.
For balance, is what he said.
But for power.
But that's not necessarily a good reason. I think it all comes down to like your individual
he's the
motivation.
He's the Jedi that's like not necessarily, he's not bad, but he's just not
good.
He's not using the Force in the right way, the way it's supposed to be used. Right. And that's what, Ahsoka's going to kind of cleanse him of it.
Oh, do you think so?
I think so.
This Ahsoka episode competes with Mando Season 2 finale in my mind for the best Star Wars TV episode ever. That and the Prison Break episode in Andor. But think about this. All three of those episodes have taken place in the last 2 years. We are getting some of the best. But y'all are forgetting about Kenobi.
Oh, man.
Kenobi, to me, that final episode of Kenobi... that cannot. You cannot top that.
Those are fantastic. Like him fighting Anakin. Like this is going to be he's so angry,
Can I just say, like, all of the best Star Wars moments that we've gotten in the last decade have been from shows and not the movies.
Oh, man.
And we love the movies. That's not to bash the movies either.
Rob, last week's episode made me forget how good Ray Stevenson has portrayed Baylan Skoll. He and Shin have been my favorite. Same here, Rob. Like, when they came, like, the first 2 episodes, I was like, these are my characters right here.
We locked in on those.
And then... They
weren't in this episode
they went to a ship. They went on their ship, and now we're like, who's that? We almost forgot about them.
Yeah.
But they're gonna be, and it's so terrible that we're not gonna see more of Baylan.
I know. I'm very curious to see what happens with Baylan at the end of this season. Like, are they gonna have to fix it in the next season if there is a next season of Ahsoka?
So Bestman, speaking of Ahsoka's voice. In Rise of Skywalker, this ghost is seen during the Battle of Exegol. So what happens to Jason? I'm assuming Luke doesn't train him. So what's he up to for 20 years?
Okay, we watched a video where somebody was like, I mean, Ben Solo totally killed him.
I think the thing is like how Kanan went on his way and he's just surviving as a Jedi, like somewhere else. I think that's what Jason did. He's like, I'm going to go on my own. My mom's over here. We're going to go on our own adventures. And he just stays out of it.
I hope
so. He's just not a main, like, I want to be this. I want to, like he probably learns from his mom that, hey, you don't need to be trained by Luke to be a Jedi.
Anonymous person said, I think they're setting up Jason to be part of Rey's new Jedi Order in the next movie. We talked about that. We were discussing that, but if that's the case, he's gonna
be old. He's gonna be older than her.
Older than Rey.
Yeah, and I mean he could be the one that helps her
and guides her. It very well could be because maybe that's why we're getting so much Jason now to help feed into the Rey movie. Right? Yeah. It's a movie. Yeah, it's a movie. Do they end up recasting Baylan?
See, that's a hard thing because, like, are they going to play it the same way?
Sabine is the oldest to be trained as a Jedi. Like, to start training? Jason's piloting the Ghost in episode 9. Somehow.
But I think the whole age thing was more of a construct that the Jedi Council placed.
It was kind of
like, we're not gonna, like, here's the easy route. Like, we get them while we're young. We'll get them while they're young. Mind warp them and to do this. Like, listen to us only. And I think that's the thing. Like,
which is exactly what happened with the
Ahsoka
troopers.
has to break them of that, and she's gonna be like Sabine. Like, she's kind of was alluding to it, like, everybody could have the Force. You just have to, like, open yourself up to it. And I think that's where it's going to kind of lead us to. Now, she may be forced, actually be able to control it or not. Like, we'll see at the end. Wouldn't Rey be older the time that Ahsoka takes place in the timeline? Aren't we between... No,
we're not between 7 and 8. We're before 7. Because Luke is not yet old Luke.
Yeah. He's...
Because we're in the time
middle-aged Luke.
Ben's probably alive, but he's really young.
You think so?
Toddler. Because it's 7 years after Return of the Jedi. So he's got to be like a baby. Right?
Well, how many years between?
Anyway, Ben Solo's born after the original trilogy. Jason's born. When was Jason born? Probably like beginning of the original trilogy.
He's probably Jedi.
Because when did Rebels end?
So the other thing is Poe Dameron. He was born after he was born from 2 pilots after the Return of the Jedi.
Poe is?
Yeah.
How much time is there between 6 and 7?
So I think Jason and Poe may be around the same age.
Interesting.
Because this is 7 years, so he's what, 9, 8, 9? So, oh no, maybe he's older than Poe, actually.
He has to be older than Poe because when did Rebels take place and when was he born? That's all before New Hope.
Well, how old is the kid now? He looks like 10?
10, 12 maybe.
So it happened 3 years before Return of the Jedi?
It's too much. I need a timeline and someone smarter than me to tell me these answers.
Rob, I think they trained Jedi young in the prequels prior to eliminate their attachments early in life. Yeah,
That's a good point, yeah.
That's the thing is like it was easier for them instead of like getting them older and saying, "Hey, you need to like." They're like, "No, let's get it before they even have memories. Let's cut it. You know, you don't have attachments. You don't have memories.
So
So it's just easier."
so messed up. But then they do that with the troopers in the sequel trilogy.
What do you mean?
Like Finn. Finn was taken
Yeah.
as a kid. Anonymous person, I've heard the theory that Jason becomes a Knight of Ren. No, I refuse. But he could. I mean, it's possible. I don't like it, though. I can't see, like... That's why I'm, like, leaning over, because... No, it's okay. It's just, like, when the new ones come in, it's, like, a little pole right there. Maybe Broom Boy becomes a Knight of Ren.
If only.
Jason was conceived just before A New Hope. Rebels ends about a year before A New Hope, not counting the epilogue. Okay, that's what I needed to know. So Rebels is a year before A New Hope.
Is it though? New Hope to Return of the Jedi is not less than 10 years.
It's not less than 10 years?
If he was conceived, like, so that's saying he was, okay,
But
so he
no,
was
but
born
it's-
on
But it's 6 to 7 years after.
right now. So it's only 3 years before Return of the Jedi. Like, you just do basic math. So Return of the Jedi plus 7 years.
Yes.
Okay. Jason is 10 years old, we'll assume.
Let's give him 12.
Okay, now we're at 12 years.
Okay.
So 12 minus 7.
5.
So he was 5 at Return of the Jedi. So Return of the Jedi to...
So then there's only 4 years.
And then from...
But we know
okay,
that...
we know there's a year between
Empire and Return of the Jedi.
Because...
Kylo's dad was frozen for a year.
I mean, okay, so...
The original trilogy only spans about 3 years. Okay, so then Jason has to be like 11 or 12.
Okay.
There you have it, folks. That was unfun math. I mean, you gotta think like...
But then Ezra's not going to be that much older than him.
But look at Sabine.
Because-
Like, how old do you think Sabine is? That helps, right?
Because I'm pretty sure that Luke and Leia and Ezra are around like the same age, the exact same age.
Wait, who?
Luke, Leia, and Ezra.
Yes.
Like they're the exact same
Like,
age.
almost literally to the day, right?
Yeah, because his birthday is Empire Day, and theirs was like what, days before, days after. I guess. I mean, I'm assuming that's when he took over.
I guess so. I guess it all doesn't happen in a day, right? They have to like craft a press release,
Put an email in.
send their carrier pigeons to the planet.
So then Sabine's older than Ezra.
But not by much. It's like a couple years, right?
So we're saying that Luke and Leia are younger than Sabine right now?
Yes.
So she's in her, what?
But I mean, she's walking around acting, I mean, she's kind of like a little...
Teenager?
Yeah, she acts like a teenager, but is she actually like...
In her 30s.
Yeah. What? People in their 30s acting like they're teenagers again? Listening to the same
so
music?
the Battle of Endor on Wikipedia says happens at 4 ABY. So it is 4 years after. So yeah. Sabine's
This is
29
getting
to 30.
serious.
Now that you know that's what's gonna happen now. Like I'm gonna be on Wikipedia all night,
I
like
know.
trying to figure out.
I'm just going to watch
the
my
timeline.
camping videos. watch a random man on the other side of the world eating ramen at 3:30 in the morning. Exactly, TJ. I was like, wait a second. Somebody in their 30s acting like a teenager? Listening to the same music? Dressing like they wish they had dressed as a teenager?
Yeah, see, they were all born. Yeah, okay. So I was right. Whew.
Dang. Okay, so the Hollow Knight acts fast. If Luke and Leia were born on Empire Day. Yes?
Well, I mean, all he's saying is like,
that whole
I am the
last half of
Senate, and that's it. He said it, he declared it, and it was.
Okay,
And
I
it's Empire
declare
Day.
bankruptcy. Does the whole world know now?
Well, they know because like, he
We're
says
live
it on that.
streaming, so yes.
He declared it, so they just backdate it. Like, oh, when did he say that? Okay, it was last Tuesday. So.
Steven, get the new Timelines book. Oh, great.
I need to.
No, please. Brent, please tell me it doesn't have anything to do with time travel, though.
I thought that's what World Between Worlds was gonna be.
I'm so glad it's not. Because you trying to explain it to me as it is.
I was getting frustrated too because
you were so mad
like,
at me.
You were not getting it, and I was.
Yeah, but then I heard somebody else say it in a video, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. I have to hear somebody else say it.
I can't believe you.
Sorry. Do you know we've already been going for an hour and a half.
I know.
We got so heated.
Yeah.
We had to do math. I was like, I had my toes out under the table trying to count. It's like, okay, ABY is this toe.
But I think they're gonna start going away from the ABY. I think they're gonna start because like they've done like the Battle of
Are
Jakku
they
now.
gonna say
Like I think you could tell like which generation because there's gonna be the people that
it's the
ABYs.
trilogies.
Was it during the Clone Wars or was it the Battle of Jakku?
It was interesting that they did do ABY with the
Rob, Empire Day makes it sound so fun and joyful, like the 4th of July.
No, KD, Doctor Who 10 is Hu Yang, so time travel isn't out. Did you see? I saw a side-by-side picture of David Tennant as Doctor Who and then David Tennant now, and I was like, oh my gosh! Like, when I don't remember when it was.
That was a long time ago.
It was like 20 years ago, probably. But I was like,
that's
dang.
wild to think.
Yeah, it was wild because we didn't watch it when it was fresh. No, Paul, get out of here. We got to leave now that Paul made that joke. Put that up on screen. Navi just joined us. Well, I don't know if he just joined us, but thanks for hanging out with us. Even TJ's calling it out. No, it was great. It was a fantastic episode. But it was one of those things because funny enough, our daughter is really into watching Ahsoka.
Yeah.
So much so that she asked to dress up as Ahsoka for Star Cruiser. I was like, nope, absolutely not. We do not have. We don't have the time for that.
Don't have the capacity.
No capacity. Like maybe Halloween, but she's been sitting there and watching it with us every week. And like truly sitting there watching it, and when the episode was over, she was like, "No, I want more." Like it was cool to see her connecting with Star Wars on the same level that we do. Like this is the beginning of her Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
Like we each connect to the first piece of it that we get to experience. So like you really connected with sequels because that's what you watched when you were young. Like I watched them, but I didn't connect with them. The sequel trilogies to me were mine. And now to like see her with this new
stuff.
the new era of shows was just really cool. Cutting out leather porgs for my final voyage. That's amazing. They have tie-dye. Wait, why did I read tie-dye? They have the kid Ahsoka costume on Shop Disney. I will probably have to. David Tennant is back for 3 specials for the 60th anniversary of Doctor Who. I want to say it was 2005. I think that's right. Because I think we started watching when was he our first Doctor we started watching?
No, we watched Ecclestein.
David?
Yeah. 9. Dr. 9, he was 10. And then 11. But Matt Smith was 11.
We watched whoever was after Matt Smith, but just briefly.
Capaldi.
Yeah.
We didn't watch a whole bunch of that.
Was he also David? Were they all named Davids except for Matt?
Pete, I think it was Pete.
Oh.
Peter.
Want to make the light Ahsoka costume so bad and wear it daily. It was so good. It's
that cloak.
So good. The cloak, but then everything under it because it's just so tonal and it's just like whites and there's whites and grays, but there's also some like goldish, like beige elements. Oh, it's so good. You know, I love me a boring one colored outfit. Make a Gandalf Ahsoka the white mashup costume. Maybe I'll do it. No, I couldn't do an Ahsoka for Mosh. I can't like rock out with head tails.
Man, but the hood tails were, they're
It was so weird to see them.
I think just seeing like
Also, did she just have that costume just like
Clone
tucked
Wars
away?
Ahsoka.
She's like, I know a transformation's coming, baby. Let me pack this this bad boy over when it happens.
They've had so many different like as costumes for Ahsoka.
Yeah. Like
they
you
had
mean in her lifetime?
No. I'm talking like through the series, but like this show, because they had her in her regular one, they had the space one,
Oh yeah.
and so then they had the white one, but they also had when she was a kid, like the two
The
when
two
she was a
when
kid.
she was a kid. Her spacesuit was super cool. Braid my hair like Ashley Eckstein does. I could do that. I could throw my space buns in.
Some blue in there.
I have some. That's what I did for one of the Star Cruiser voyages. We're trying not to have meltdowns over here. That is.
Yes, there was.
It is. I think that's the sad part for me. To wrap this up, that's the sad part for me is like when we do see new Star Wars. Like whenever I see a new costume, I constantly am looking at the costumes now just because I'm like, oh, could I pull inspiration from that? We were watching One Piece, and that one captain guy comes in with that cool like cape thing. I was like, oh my god, could I make that in time?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like everything we've been just like watching these costumes now.
That's where it hurts. Is just like we had a place to wear those things, and now it's like, oh, we just gotta kind of. We're gonna have to show up and be the weirdos in costume for a while until like enough other weirdos show up with us that it's not weird anymore.
Rob, I learned to stop sequel hating watching my kids. The sequels and Disney Plus shows, Batu and Halcyon, are my kids' chance to love Star Wars the way I do. It's their Star Wars. That's
it. That's absolutely it. I think that's the lesson we all got to learn. It may not be the Star Wars you grew up with, but it's somebody else's Star Wars they're growing up with, and that's really cool. It's really cool that it can transcend generations like this, and it's not just.
And then as long as we have someone like Dave at the helm to be able to like to know that we love it and love it too.
Yeah.
Like I have full faith in it. If Filoni's there, I have faith in Star Wars.
Oh my gosh. Anonymous person's going as Balin with the white beard and all. I cannot wait to see those pictures. Oh, that's going to be so good. Although, anonymous person, I just always envision you in your Narkina jumpsuit with your goggles and the Darth Vader, what is it? Life preserver, like the little tube. That was so good. Bespin says everyone thinks the white costume symbolizes her transformation. Really was just because the dark costume was drying. I mean, seriously, like that was the one thing that was like, oh my gosh, she's wearing a white blanket cape thing. I was like, is this it? And then she comes out with like an amazing outfit, whole new outfit. Where'd you have that? It was Hu Yang making it. And he's like, I know where she is. I'm not gonna tell y'all. He's just out there like surging. Oh, the Narkina outfit is coming back. That was so good. Oh, man. Yeah, it's a great week to be a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
It's a great time to be a Star Wars fan. Just the fact that we get this all the time is absolutely wonderful. Dano's back. Perfect time to end the stream.
Because I want to go watch the episode. Work on my costume.
Are you going to work on it tonight?
Yeah, I'll probably work on it a little bit.
It's like 10:30. It's not bad. But I think that's it. I think that's a good place to wrap it up. Maybe we go get another couple Silver Sea martinis.
Pour yourself a drink.
Hey, yo. But that's it. I think We will not be live. Our next live, it'll be 2 weeks from today. I
don't know, we might be wild and
to like an
impromptu
live stream from the
subline.
parks or something.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
no. Well, 2 weeks from today, it'll be over, love.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
Oh, while we're on.
yeah, while we're on. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. Dana says, let's do a live from Disney World.
That's, Dano, I like that idea.
Show the world how much we can cry. We'll cry in real time. All right. I think that's, oh God. Oh, we will not. If we can do a live stream from Epcot if it's early enough in the day. All right. I think that is it. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We will see you next time. If we can find the button.